Broadcasting live from somewhere in the Shadow Realm, this is YuGiOh Deck Talk. Here's your host, Doug Dimmaduel. Hey there, and welcome to another episode of YuGiOh Deck Talk. Today, we're going to try something a little different than what we've normally done. I've been getting a lot of questions on Twitter asking, hey, I want to build a deck for the TCG, but I just really want to keep it under budget. I don't want to spend more than so much money on a deck. So it got me thinking, okay, can we build a pretty decent competitive deck for, say, under $50 or around $50? And sure enough, we're able to figure this one out for this specific Red Eyes deck. Now, I know I've mentioned a Red Eyes one-turn kill deck in my one of my prior episodes, but it made me wonder, okay, let me do a little bit of shopping around and see if we can get a lot of the pieces to build a deck similar to that for around $50. And sure enough, we made it happen. The total amount of money for all the cards that I'm going to discuss with you today comes out to around $48 to $49. So, and if you have a little bit of extra money, you could get a few extra copies of things, but we'll discuss those when we get there. So the first card that I have in here is Red Eyes Fusion. This is the absolute driver to the deck as far as you're able to just quickly get any type of Red Eyes Fusion monster out onto the field as quickly as possible by utilizing monsters in your deck or hand to make this summon happen. So this is one that you really want to see in your deck or in your hand as soon as possible. So if you want to purchase 3 copies of this one, there's a few sets on eBay for around $4. So for this one, it's $3.99. Then we got a copy of 3 copies of Red Eyes Insight. This one's a little more expensive for the set. It's $7.14. But what this card does is it allows you to send one Red Eyes card from your hand or deck to the graveyard to bring a Red Eyes Spell or Trap card into your hand. So at least what Red Eyes Insight does, you can get a lot of good combo plays off of it. And yeah, that's why, I mean, you get 3 copies of it for $7.14 right now on eBay. So this one is a really good card to have. This is it's just an absolute staple in a Red Eyes deck, but there's going to be, you got to put a little bit of money into that one. Next we have Meteor Dragon Red Eyes Impact. This is a whole 3 copy set of this one for $3.36. The reason why this card is so useful is because it's going to be one of your fusion materials for your Meteor Black Comet Dragon. Because at least what this one does is, it's got a Gemini effect, but just its main focus is just being used as fusion material. So Meteor Dragon Red Eyes Impact, $3.36 for 3 copies. Speaking of the fusion monster, you could get yourself a copy of Meteor Black Comet Dragon. It's got 3,500 attack, 2,000 defense. It requires 1 level 7 Red Eyes monster and 1 level 6 Dragon type monster. If this card is fusion summoned, you can send 1 Red Eyes monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, inflict to your opponent damage equal to the original attack of that monster. If this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard, you can target 1 normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So this card is just all around a beast. Whether or not you're trying to use this with your Infernal Fire Blast or anything like that, at least it also has the mechanic where you could float this card. Say for example, if it gets sent to the graveyard, it gets destroyed by a card effect or by battle or whatever, you could end up taking one of your normal Red Eyes monsters out of the graveyard and putting it back onto the field and hopefully setting yourself up for a future play. So right now we only have 1 copy of this card because it's $4.89 for 1 copy. If you got a little bit of extra money, maybe you could get a second or third one for your extra deck. This would be really good to have. And just looking at the stats and looking at its effect, you can see why it's just a really good fusion monster. Next we just have a plain vanilla Red Eyes Black Dragon. We got 3 copies of it. It's 99 cents for a first edition, no less. So yeah, not that expensive for your plain vanilla Red Eyes Black Dragon. However, your Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon, which is another level 7 Red Eyes monster, for 3 copies of it, you can get it for $6. So for this one, it's $5.99. But yeah, this is just another good driver for your fusion plays, and just to have another level 7 Red Eyes monster available for doing stuff for. So yeah, excellent card. Next we have a Blackstone of Legend. It's $4.39 for 1 copy. So for now in this deck, we're just keeping it to 1 copy. But what this one does is you're able to tribute this card and basically special summon any level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster that's not That's not Red Eyes B Chick. So you could special summon that onto the field by attributing Blackstone of Legend. So this is just your great searcher card as far as whatever Red Eyes monster you want, you could get onto the field basically in no time. So if you have a little bit of extra money to spend on that, this is the other card that I recommend, possibly getting another copy or two. But for budget's sake, we're running one. Next, you get 3 copies of Dragon's Mirror. This one's good because especially when you have so many dragon monsters from this deck in your graveyard, whether or not you've been using them as fusion material, or if they've been getting destroyed by effects and by battle, or by discard, or anything along those lines, you're able to utilize your Dragon's Mirror and banish monsters from your graveyard that are dragon types to special or to fusion summon a dragon monster from your extra deck. So there's a lot of good plays you could do with that card. So for 3 copies of this, it's $3. So pretty darn good. Then what I got here is 3 copies of Red Eyes Wyvern. It's a level 4 Red Eyes monster, 1800 attack, 1600 defense, but its effect is good. During your end phase, if you did not normal summon or set a monster this turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon 1 Red Eyes monster from your graveyard except Red Eyes B Chick. So that one is, you get 3 copies of it for $1. So really good deal on that one. Now the next one I recommend too is 3 copies of Black Metal Dragon. It's $1.77 for 3 copies, and this one's good. It's a searcher card built in, but it's also a good equip card. It says you can target 1 Red Eyes monster you control except Red Eyes B Chick and equip this monster from your hand or field to that target. It gains 600 attack. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Red Eyes card from your deck to your hand except Red Eyes B Chick. So the reason why this card is absolutely worth it in this deck is because not only when it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can search a Red Eyes monster, but it says Red Eyes card. So that means you could search any Red Eyes trap or spell or anything along those lines to your hand. So Black Metal Dragon is a really, really good card, and for 3 copies for only $1.77, yeah, I definitely recommend running 3 of those in the deck. Next here we have 3 copies of Red Eyes Retro Dragon for 99 cents. Its effect is if a level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster you control except Red Eyes B Chick is destroyed by your opponent's attack or card effect and sent to your graveyard while this card is in your hand, you can special summon this card in defense position, and if you do, special summon as many of those destroyed monsters as possible in the same position they were when destroyed. You contribute this card to normal summon 1 Red Eyes monster during your main phase turn except Red Eyes B Chick in addition to your normal summon or set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. So Red Eyes Retro Dragon is a pretty underrated card for a Red Eyes deck, and for only 99 cents, I mean, yeah, overall it's just a great card. Then too, we got 3 copies of Keeper of the Shrine for 99 cents. It's a 0 attack, 2100 defense, level 4 monster. This card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a dragon type monster. While this card is in your hand or graveyard, if a face-up dragon type monster on the field except Keeper of the Shrine is sent to the graveyard by a card effect or because it was destroyed by battle, you can special summon this card then. If that monster is sent to the graveyard as a normal monster, you can add 1 dragon type normal monster from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use this effect of Keeper of the Shrine once per turn. So for 99 cents, just another really, really good card to get. Now we're going to go back into a trap card here. We got Red Eyes Spirit. This is the card that allows you to at least special summon a Red Eyes monster from your graveyard back out onto the field. You can get 3 copies of this card for $1.85. So yeah, get 3 copies of this one and add it to your deck. Nothing wrong with that. Next, you could get 3 copies of Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning for $1.05. Red Eyes Archfiend, 2500 attack, 1200 defense. It's got that Gemini effect where once per turn you can destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls with defense lower than this card's attack. So, yeah, for a Gemini standpoint, it's got a really, really good effect, which is why I recommend getting 3 copies of the next card, Catalyst Field. Catalyst Field is just one of those cards where if you have a level 5 or higher Gemini monster, it allows you to summon it without any tribute, and it also allows you to do an extra normal summon so that you could basically activate that monster's Gemini effect. So with Catalyst Field, you can get 3 copies of it for $4.39. And because you've got the Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning and the Red Eyes Flare Dragon, they're both Gemini monsters, as well as the other Gemini monster, that Meteor Impact Red Eyes Dragon. all three of those are Gemini monsters. You could utilize Catalyst Field for all three of them if you're not going for fusion plays. So yeah, 3 copies of it for $4.39. Pretty darn good deal. Then you got Five-Headed Dragon. You could get a copy for $1.50. And I like to run this combo with the Dragon's Mirror spell card. But what this one is, it's got 5,000 attack, 5,000 defense. It just requires 5 dragon-type monsters for the fusion, and must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Cannot be destroyed by battle with a dark, earth, water, fire, or wind monster. So just having that strength, just a 5,000 attack monster in your arsenal is worth having for $1.50. So next we got 3 copies of Archfiend Black Skull Dragon for $1.47, and what it requires is 1 level 6 Archfiend normal monster and 1 Red Eyes normal monster. You can only special summon Archfiend Black Skull Dragon once per turn. If this card battles your opponent, the opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated until the end of the damage step. If damage calculation is performed involving this fusion summon card at the end of the battle phase, you can target 1 Red Eyes normal monster in your graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its attack in the graveyard, and then shuffle it into the deck. So for $1.47 for 3 copies of this one, it's just another good fusion play that you could use, but you would need to take advantage of either your Dragon's Mirror or even throw a Polymerization in there if you have one lying around, because Red Eyes Fusion does not work on this card. But it's just another good card to have in your extra deck. The last piece here to round out your deck is 3 copies of Inferno Fire Blast. It's a spell card. You get 3 copies for 99 cents, but what it does is you target 1 face-up Red Eyes Bee Dragon you control, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. Red Eyes Bee Dragon cannot attack the turn you activate this card. So this is just effectively a just an absolute win condition if you have the right cards out onto the field. And it's just a straight shot to your opponent's life points just by using this spell card. So overall, Inferno Fire Blast is that last piece that you want, and you can get 3 copies for 99 cents, so you can't go wrong with that. So all in all, if you add up what we're dealing with here with how much each of these cards run, you're looking at just under $50. So there's your budget deck. This one has just around 40 cards, a little bit more than 40 cards in the deck. It's got a few cards in the extra deck, so this would be enough for you to enter a tournament on budget and at least competitive enough to try and hold your own. So anyway, hopefully this should give you some good ideas as to how to build your budget deck. If you want to see anything more like this, if you want to start learning a little bit more about budget-friendly decks, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at YuGiOh Deck Talk. It's all one word, at YuGiOh Deck Talk. And we'll definitely do some more of these episodes if it's the kind of thing that you guys want to hear. So anyway, that's it for today's episode. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.